what I do in front of the camera, and it seems that nothing may be happening just like this. In truth, in the copy, they will be moving the light that is reflecting, and or changing, for instance, my face into some other things that they will change through manipulating the light, changing possibly the frequencies of the light into another. Each frequency, what means each color, is related to a specific size, let's say. It's a frequency. So let's say if you can turn a red into a green if you change the velocity, let's say, of the frequency. So you had initially red, but you transformed it into green, and that is what they do. They move the frequencies and create the images that we are going to see in our space. So, for this workshop, I prepared some videos because, as I said this morning, I didn't have this type of recordings anymore because I used this process very long ago, but I thought it was the easier way for you to start. So instead of using complicated things like static and the eggs and all these, I thought that you could start simply with the cloths, brilliant cloths, and that would be easier. So I made some videos for showing you how to proceed, and also what type of things you can do and with what and so on. So I made some recordings that I'll show to you, and as you see, some results. In that moment, I was using this one here, and as you can see, they can create or change. We don't know exactly, but well, let me read on. It's just quicker. Amy, come.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Why?
No, I don't know.
Even that no, yeah, to start
Well, I don't, let's see. It's in Portuguese, so I can't
Yeah,
read the laptop.
You have to learn.
You
have to learn Portuguese. You make a course now.
I think you need to tell it not to go. You need to make it so it doesn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I was just hanging a cloth like this in front of the camera, and they move the colors to create the thing that they wanted to show us. So these stop there. Okay, thank you. So you see that a owl appeared here and a face appeared here. In this case, for instance, they moved the black color and created the face. So as you see, Transimage is let's say a miracle of technology of the other side, right? So let's.
Sonia, could you hold that up again?
I'm sorry?
Just hold that up.
This
Just
one
like
here?
no, the cloth.
If you saw something you won't see again. But it's
No, but
possible.
Every time you've held it up, I've seen a different face.
Yeah, quite possible.
Just now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is what we expect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Like there's another one.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the idea, precisely that. Well, and besides that, we are in copies. Hello. Here we are, and possibly if you saw later, your cell phones will see while the light is reflecting, that they may be already creating something. At this moment, I'm not recording, but Amy is, so that we can see later things, and that will be interesting. Amy, kindly send me this video later, okay? So that That is all we have to do. It is something very, very, very simple. Okay? So remembering, we know they have to avoid the traffic between dimensions, the fabric of the physical world, to adjust its time, and to make it something direct and short. So, what was possibly Tesla's solution? It had to come from a genius. So I made all these beautiful, incredible, beautiful drawings for you. So here you have the station. Let's imagine that it is something like that. So the idea is that obviously they work with devices. It is pure technology. You cannot imagine that this is as possibly once you imagine that the other side is like the vapor. No, they are absolutely real, solid, and they have a technology much advanced than ours. They have everything that we do, right? Okay, so which is the idea that I tried to bring for you. So that is me in my lab, and they are copying me. And they can walk into the lab, which is obviously not on Earth, but there in this space, so that they can interact with me and possibly put any one of our loved ones in front and imprint or in wherever I'm holding, so that's possibly how images come to us. So they avoided the traffic between the dimensions, the fabric and also the fabric of the physical world. They have it simultaneously, so they don't have the problem of adjusting the time, because it is just aside them. Many times they recorded, when I ask, for instance, where you are speaking from or where you are, and they say, I'm aside you. And I think, aside me? How aside me? But yes, it is aside me. They are aside me. And they made it direct and short. So, I was not supposed to speak about, oh, this is mad. I think it's because I'm pressing everything, I think.
These are error.
Yeah, let's come back to this. So, but just for you to understand about the voices. Oh my, okay. About the voices is just the same process. It is not that they are sending from somewhere and it comes a wave from I don't know where and it is coming into your device. No, they also have the copy, and they will act over the sound that will be. Oh, we are playing with me. Let's see. So you will have to generate a sound, and they will manipulate that sound. So they need a sound voice playing in our side over what they will interfere. So obviously, if you will create great difficulty if you say, I will not give them any voice, I'll record in silence. You're wasting your time, because they cannot speak without sound. They will use even the sound of the lamps, or which is obviously very soft, or if a car make a noise, if it's somebody open a door, they will use any sound in our side, otherwise they cannot communicate. Okay? So, and it is also foolishness to think, I will not give a voice so that I have more proof of the evidence. Come on, we are not playing, they are doing their job, And it is something serious. It's not necessary to submit them under investigation. I think that we have to trust in their effort. So what I recommend about voices, to use human voices and not any other type of sound, such water or water falling or white noise. Oh, this is horrible. Why? Because it doesn't look like human voice. So better use human voice, even that it is specifically broken, as I usually do. But we're not talking about voices. But the idea is to supply the material for them to work in the copy, so that the sound is colorful for them. So let's suppose that you have something which is not intelligible, any sound that is coming from the louder speaker into your microphone, and these will be reorganized as the same way they change the frequencies of the light to create the images. They will change this sound into a intelligible sentence. In this case, someone would be using this voice to say, "Hi, we are listening to you." Okay, so that is the idea. We have to supply material so that they can change and work. So, just to show now how would the holoportation function for voices. The same way, they also can come inside the copy, which is, for instance, our house, and interfere directly into the voices and reach your microphone so that it is recorded. Conclusion. ITC phenomena, voices and images, happens as their intervention over a copy of our space-time or virtual reality. How they act. We have to remember that Dennis Gabor, he is not American, he lived in the United States for long, but he was the father of holography. And he was announced to be in the station for some time already. And he appeared in Transimaging, this one, that is Dennis Gabor. And you see that we are always late, right? We are nearly 50 years late. In the year of 1946, the physicist and Nobel Prize winner Dennis Gabor came up with a system that used the Gray system to reproduce sound. In truth, the same way as Microsoft already has the technology that they are using today, and we don't know, right? Because we are not so updated. The same thing, 50 years ago, this guy, who is now in the station, already created a system in which, working with sounds broken, which he called grains of sounds. These grains were reorganized into new sounds. So this is up to date used for musicians, not for communication as the station is using now, but the idea was already planted, seeded here on Earth more than 50 years ago. So it's also not new, and we see that it is really possible. This is the granular synthesis theory created by Dennis Gabor. It's a method by which sounds are broken into tiny grains, which are then redistributed and reorganized to form other sounds. Or quantum physics has shown that sound can be atomically reduced to physical particles. So this is valid for sounds and images, and that is what our spirit friends use. So now let's show the results. I know that after all these complicated explanations, and when we come to the how to use, you'll say, "Oh, Sonia, why didn't you just jump to the final? Because it is so easy and it's so complicated." It is just for you to evaluate the effort that is necessary from the other side and how complicated it really is, not for us, but for them, right? We wouldn't be capable to do more than what we do. So let me show you some results that I recorded for you. Useless to say that all this technology, even Tesla, I particularly think that Tesla wasn't a human. He has all the evidences for not being a human. He was absolutely, I don't know what, but he was completely different. He has lots of manias and a huge brain. He could not sleep for days. And I read, for instance, that whenever he think of a device, he built it in his mind, and if it was necessary, he changed the parts. And so, whenever he says it's ready, it was just to build because it would work with no problem. So he has a brain completely different from ours, and so possibly he was much higher being, I think, that came for a period of time for making us to go ahead. So it is very normal to see faces of aliens in transimages, more frequent than you imagine. So whenever you see these triangle faces, big eyes, don't think it is a mistake, but it is really them entering contact. Why? Because all these complicated technology needs knowledge that humans are only achieving by now, possibly. So it is very natural to see them whatever technology, whatever type of device we use, either a computer, either cloth, anything, they will be appearing. So be welcome to the world of the aliens. And they are obviously the ones capable to open this way so that we can, in future, make this very easy for us to communicate with the loved ones, right? Because the truth is that our loved ones has no knowledge, as we also don't, to provide all this, right? So they need higher explanations and orientations, and that's what they do, right? So, how to record? Okay, I think that now you blame on me. Oh, Sonia, it is so easy, and you are complicating. No.